everybody, and welcome back to the Cultivate E.D.H podcast. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Cam, and today we've got breaking news in Magic. A new product has been announced. It's called Double Masters. It's the return of the Master set that was previously discontinued. I think it was 2 years ago with Ultimate Masters, and there's some pretty spicy cards for Commander. It looks like just by the three previews that we've gotten. So a little bit about the product before we dive into what the episode is about. Our hopes of what is in this product based on the spoilers that they've already given us. Double Masters is a 332 card product, 24 packs per booster box, 15 card boosters with 2 rares and 2 foils per pack, and 2 non-foil showcase box toppers, again, if you buy the box itself. And the spoilers that they've given us so far for the set are Doubling Season, Blightsteel Colossus, and Atraxa Praetor's Voice. Aaron, let me get your opinion on just those three so far and what that already means for us as Commander players.
So, just with what we've seen so far, this is already gearing up to be a really exciting master set. Doubling Season is one of the most played cards in Green. It is just such a good value engine and will always be a really good card. Blightsteel Colossus is, I think, one of the more heavily played colorless creatures that we've seen in the past. May not be really like a combo piece or anything like that, but it is just a massive, scary creature. 13/13 with infect, and just we talk about him all the time because we've just had so many run-ins with the Blightsteel Colossus.
It's exactly like like when we record this podcast, we use Blightsteel as a Colossus or Blightsteel Colossus as an example all the time because it's almost like the pinnacle of like scary big creature.
Yeah, and the last one here, probably one of the best commanders, in my opinion, that we've seen in a long time. Atraxa Praetor's Voice, and just being able to proliferate at the end of at your end step is super nice. It gives you lots of different options on ways to play the deck. There's the +1/+1 counter angle, Super Friends angle. There's just a lot of different popular ways to play that card, and we're gonna have extra chances to pull these cards because there are 2 rares in every single pack. I think that is one of the most interesting, and I will say it will be expensive, but it is just really one of the most interesting and most fun things that Wizards has done for us in a while, like as a surprise thing. Because sometimes they normally give us in advance. They tell us what's going to happen in the future, but this was a surprise for everybody. They just kind of pulled this out of their hat recently and said, "Hey, Double Masters is coming at you," and I personally really appreciate that kind of thing when Wizards just kind of surprises us with a an entire set of stuff.
See, now like this product, it was never like when they announced it, it wasn't like this is for Commander players, even though this is quote unquote the year of Commander. This isn't really for Commander players. Like when they announced it, they didn't really specify. But just based on these three spoilers that we've already gotten, I think it's pretty safe to assume there's going to be a lot of goodies in here that Commander players want.
Yeah, and master sets always have pretty good stuff in there. A lot of good, like, legendary creatures, some powerful spells that Commander players like seeing and like using. And I think that this is going to be another one of those sets where we get some really spicy cards as reprints, and it makes cards more available to the Commander format.
Which is exactly what we need. So that's what we're going to kind of transition to now is our wish list, what we want Double Masters to give to us so badly because some of these cards are really expensive. Actually, I think most of these cards are really expensive, but they're really good cards for Commander and would make a lot of Commander players really happy. So let's break it down. We're going to go in Wooburg order with white. Aaron, what is our white card that we want to be printed the most from Double Masters?
So the first card on here, and we had talked about a couple of different things, but the one that really stood out to us the most is Teferi's Protection. I mean, this card since it has come out, has just been a powerhouse for white. And
Staple in all white decks.
yeah, it it is a saver. It really turns things around when your opponents go to win the game, but then maybe they go to swing and try to kill everybody all at once, and you just phase out of the game and really put a wrench in their plans. And for those of you who don't know, Teferi's Protection is 2 in a white for an instant. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. And while they're phased out, they're treated as though they don't exist. They phase in before you untap during your untap step and exile Teferi's Protection. It's such a good card that, it came out, I believe, in
2017 with the
yeah,
Commander 2017 product.
yeah, and right, just as soon as things kind of cooled down, people had their commander decks. It just shot up in price. I believe it's like $34,
I think
$35
it's like
right now.
$50.
Is it? Yeah, it might be. It's definitely up there, and that is just one of the white goodie that we hope gets reprinted. Cameron, what do we got for blue?
Okay, for blue, we've got everybody's favorite bad guy, Cyclonic Rift. 1 in a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Or you can overload it for 6 in a blue, and that means you get to return all non-land permanents you don't control. So it's a save all my stuff, bounce all your guys' stuff. This card, it's really contentious in the community whether or not it should just be banned outright. But it's always so expensive. It's only been like reprinted, like twice from its original printing. I think it was reprinted in a Commander product and then again in another Masters product, if I'm not mistaken. But it always maintains like a $30 to $40 price tag, and that's just really nuts because it's really good on the same level that like Teferi's Protection is good. Basically bounce all your stuff and my board remains untouched is almost like a I win the game button.
Yeah, Cyclonic Rift, and another card that we really talk about quite frequently because it just has such a powerful presence in the community. Very good thing that I really hope Wizards will reprints for us. This is, as we talked about, this is the year of Commander. Maybe they'll give us some just real spicy reprints for Commander in Double Masters.
Speaking of spicy reprints, I really hope they reprint this next card because its counterpart they have reprinted, and it's brought the price down a little bit, but not nearly if they were to reprint this card, which is Vampiric Tutor. For 1 black instant, search your library for a card, then shuffle your library, put that card on top of it, you lose 2 life. So this is the 1 mana part of the like tutor cycle, the like mystical tutor, enlightened tutor, worldly tutor, all of those. This is the black one, and it's by far the most expensive, with being like I think at its cheapest is like $75.
Yeah, Vampiric Tutor. I mean, any tutor is a good tutor, but I think that this would be a really good reprint for the community, as seeing as it does have a really high price tag, but it is a card. Any tutor that you get to play is always pretty spicy. So hopefully we can get another tutor down to a more reasonable price.
Aaron, what do we got for red?
So red, this card is like the epitome of how I like to play, and it's Sneak Attack for 3 in a red enchantment. You can pay 1 red mana. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. This creature gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. I mean, between the many commanders that I have, lots of them cheat out creatures, and it is how I enjoy playing. I like being able to do stuff for free. I mean, who doesn't? But this is, but it does have a really hefty price tag on it as well, and to have this more available to Commander players, I think it'll give red players a little bit of kind of more confidence in their decks if they're able to run this and start cheating out some bigger, scarier creatures.
This kind of like also like in a way kind of helps with the Boros problem. Maybe if we get more sneak attack effects, maybe Boros gets better because some of the bigger red creatures or the much bigger white creatures maybe this is like one of the many keys that we're gonna need a accessible reprint for, so that more players can play sneak attack in their like Boros aggro decks and just kind of cheat these big things into play and maybe close out games quicker, more so than they would be able to if they weren't playing a sneak attack effect.
Yeah, definitely is something that we'll kind of have to wait and see. Green up next. Cameron, what do we got for green?
We got Sylvan Library, 1 and a green. For an enchantment, at the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand, draw on this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life or put it back on the top of your library. Just a powerhouse of a green rare.
Yeah, Sylvan Library definitely really good at manipulating the top of your library and being able to kind of choose those cards that you have. A really good kind of powerhouse for green. Not that green it really needs more powerhouses, but I think the next card here is the absolute king of manipulating the top of your library, and that's Senseis Divining Top. This would be just such a good reprint. It is a 1 mana artifact, and you can pay 1 to look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You can tap, draw a card, then put Senseis Divining Top on the top of its owner's library. This card, I have one in a Melik Is It Paragon deck that wants to manipulate the top card of my library, and this card is so good at letting me do all the things that I want to do at the top of my library. It's just crazy,
It
and
well,
it's
it really
always held a
seems
good
like
price.
well, you go ahead and finish your thought.
It's always held a pretty good price tag, and I think that having it reprinted in Double Masters would be really good for the Commander community.
Well, is it just me, or does it seem like there are more cards being printed nowadays that care about what's on the top of the library?
Yeah, I think that is true a little bit. We have seen more top of your library like centric cards.
Like the first thing that comes to my mind right now would be like a Cathril like from Commander 2020, like the self mill deck that deck kind of wants to do. So like if you have an engine going with that deck where you're looking at the top cards of your library every turn, you know, there might be certain things that you really don't want to put into your graveyard because maybe it's like the reanimation spell you're going to use to get something big back. And like top is the perfect piece for this because it lets you manipulate the top of your library. And honestly, that's like the only one that I can think of right now. But I know that there are others. There are other cards or other decks out there with commanders that have been printed within at least the past year that would love a Sensei's Divining Top. But it's so expensive. It needs a reprint and hasn't been reprinted in a long time.
Yeah, and you know the thing about top is no matter what deck you're running it in, it's always going to be some value. You know, some decks obviously want it more than others, but to be able to look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them in whatever order you want, having that card choice is strong by any sense of, you know, what this card can do. I think that overall top is a solid reprint not only for Commander, but I think there's a lot of other people out there who want to use this card. I think that it just is one of the more popular artifacts that we've seen. And so the last card on here that we have are we did choose one multicolor card that we think would be probably the most popular kind of reprint. That's Muraris Wake. It's 3 a green and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. When you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced.
You know, I feel like the last time that they printed this card, it's like I they printed it and it went down to like $5, and then I turned my back, and then the next time I looked at Mirari's Wake, it was like already up to like $20 or something like that. And it's like, this is ridiculous. This card goes in so many decks that like include green and white. I'm gonna say it's the better version of Zendikar Resurgence because it's only 5 mana. It anthems and it basically kind of does the same thing Zendikar Resurgence does. You're really focusing on that. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you get another of that type, so it's doubling your mana. It's less expensive mana cost wise. I just think it's better, and that's probably why it's more expensive. And like every time I go to at least look at a deck that involves green and white, Muraris Wake is always in the 99.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, mana doublers are so popular. They do so much for you and really can put you ahead of the curve really quickly. And I think that a lot of times when I see someone play a mana doubler, either they're winning the game shortly thereafter or everyone is turning on them and shutting them down as quickly as they can because of how much they're able to do with that extra mana.
So all in all of these cards at bare minimum need a reprint. They're getting really expensive, and some of these cards are just, like some of them are commander staples. Like Teferi's Protection is a white staple, Cyclonic Rift is a blue staple in commander. So we're kind of hurting for reprints here with some of these cards, but we have hope that they're going to be in double masters, or at least in another product this year, in the year of commander. So guys, let us know on Twitter, in the YouTube comments, on our Discord, what is your wish list, color by color. What do you think are the most popular reprints that are going to be for Commander players and Double Masters? And we'll see you guys next time.